Good morning. We're going to have an open house today, and I'm excited. I think we're going to have an awesome day. So some of the things that are kind of behind the scenes for a successful open house is getting signage all set up and prepared and getting the house all ready. So it takes a little bit of a process. So one of the things I do is I put my open house sign on right away that hangs down from my main sign. I just like this because it's a nice clean look. And then I have these flyers. While we're having an open house, I just don't want somebody grabbing a flyer. When I do an open house, I do it a little bit differently. A lot of people have a lot of marketing material out. I don't want to do that. I don't want any marketing material out. Matter of fact, I only give them the marketing material after my tour. The reason why is I want to build relationships with my clients and prospective buyers. So the best thing to do is not hand them a bunch of marketing material. Let's do a real proper tour, and I'm going to show you how that looks like in the next video. But let's concentrate on getting this house all set up the correct way so you have successful open house, and I'm going to sell this house. So I unlocked the door already, but I am going to take my flyer box and take that and put that in. Now I do have a flyer box right here, and the reason why it's facing away, when they exit, that's when I give them the flyer or any marketing material that I may have on this house. But the one that sits outside, I put it away. So come on in. So what we got to do is we got to get this baby ready to open up. So this light's a little different than all the other lights because it's a warm light that I use. I shut that baby off, and then I'm going to turn on the rest of the lights. I'm going to go through the rest of the house and turn on these lights. Hide this baby for the moment, and let's just kind of go through the house and set the house up. So one of the first things is I have the fans going. In the summertime here, it's warm, so I want good circulation throughout the whole house. I'm going to keep the fans going throughout the whole house too, because stuff can get stale if it's sitting empty for a long time. So what you want to do is you want to run the water taps every time that you start, just for a little bit, so you keep the drains wet so they don't dry up and you have stink coming up through your drain lines. That's not a good open house start. So we're going to do that as we go through. I like to put these little candles in a couple different spots just to give it some ambiance. I probably didn't say that correctly, but here, on. Woo! My favorite one is in the fireplace. Ta-da! So I love using these little candles. If I have an open house that has kind of maybe some smoke lingering smell or cat smell, or I'll just say it, old people smell, it happens. So I'll use air fresheners throughout the house. This house has been totally remodeled, smells terrific, no need for that. But I'll show you that in a later video too, on some of the things that you want to do to get your property ready to list. So let's go through. And I think it's important to have every single light on when you're doing an open house. That way you don't have people fumbling around looking for lighting, stuff like that. This bedroom's a little dark. It has a switch light for a lamp. So I'm going to try to make this as bright as possible. So I'm opening up the shades, but I still want them down because I want to show them off. I don't want to pull up all the blinds. So I'm just going to open it up so when somebody comes in, they come into the primary suite, they're going to be able to see that, oh gosh, they got a really nice backyard right off the primary suite and the sliding glass door. And then we walk into the closet, nice bright light. I have one light that I keep on for security reasons, but we'll light this baby up. Hey, I am excited. I'm feeling really good. I think I'm going to sell this house today. Let's see what other things that we got to turn on. I like to go through the whole house turning the lights on first. So kitchen lights. I want to make sure that I have enough water bottles in here for clients when they come through if they're thirsty, especially when it's hot out. And you see that they need a little hydration. You want to do that. We're going to turn these lights on. And we are all set up. I have my computer sitting here. Fire this baby up. Boom. I have everything set up. I like to perch in my open houses to the front of the house where I can see people come through and meet them and greet them. Next thing is, let's do a little ambiance music. Is that something that, I don't know, maybe I'm using that word wrong. Let's have some background music. So I have a sound bar. And I like to put some oldies on, you know. I think it sounds good, and depending on the area that you're marketing to, you know, it young and old, who doesn't like Elvis and some of the oldies? And it's soft. Nice background music. Next thing to do is, let's go set some signs. So, typically, when I do these open houses, I like to sit in the garage. Today, it's going to be 110 here. There's no way that I'm going to be sitting in the garage. But if it was 90 degrees, I pull this out and I sit in the garage and I engage everybody because I want every opportunity for everybody in the neighborhood to take a look at it. Some neighbors might be a little shy. Well, when I'm around, I'm like, have you seen what I've done to this house? Come on in. Let's check it out. I bring them through and I give them a whole tour. I get to meet everybody in the neighborhood that way because a lot of the times, I don't know the exact percentage, somebody in that neighborhood knows the new owner coming in. And it could be because they're friends, relatives. They want people to live close to them that they know. So they're going to be a big, huge source of advertising your open houses and your listings for you. So don't discount the nosy neighbor. So the nosy neighbor, I love, because what they do is they'll bring you business. Be friendly, be happy. Let's shut this door. I'm going to grab my open house signs. Now I call it Signology. So, where to set your signs. It depends on how many signs that you have. You'll see realtors blast signage. And what that means is they'll set up multiple signs. Today at this listing, unfortunately I lent out some other signs. Usually I like to have 12 to 15 signs. Today I'm just working with 8 signs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blast these signs. And you're like, what's blasting the signs? Well, I'm going to put signage real close together in a row. I've ordered up some more signs. Actually, I just ordered up 50 more yard signs. So I'm going to really blast neighborhoods. I like to put the signage at intersections where there are stoplights. Now, today we're going to have a lot of open houses in the neighborhood. So there's going to be a lot of signs there. So are you doubling up signs when you put stuff there? Yeah, sometimes you are. Depends on what they're doing for open houses. Now, in my open houses, I like to do a little bit longer open houses. I'll do open houses from basically 10 until 5. A couple reasons why a longer open house works well. It shows your neighbors that are in that neighborhood that, hey, you're working hard to sell this house. And that's your job as a realtor. Some realtors, they just look at open houses that, oh, it's something I have to do for my client just to appease them. Well, that's the wrong way to think. I think what you need to think in your head is, This is my job to sell this house. I'm getting paid extremely well to sell it. I'm gonna do everything that I can to sell this house. So what's gonna be the best thing for me to sell this house? Well, it is to have open houses, sit in them as long as you can, possible, and as often as you can. I like to do 3 days a week, at least minimum. So we're gonna cross the highway. I'm gonna show you what I mean about blasting. So I have a yard sign in front, and I have a yard sign actually in back here too. So my name is being seen all over this neighborhood with my sign. So I'm gonna set these down here for a second. So I'm gonna start over here. And I want these signs to be seen. So I'm gonna put them, like we have some shrubs here. I wanna put them in the center. I don't wanna hide them in the shrubs. So I'm gonna have them spread apart a little bit, because my opening is across the street. I'm gonna stick them there. So I'm gonna have 4 signs in a row right at this intersection on this side, and then I'm gonna put 4 more on the other side. Now I can only carry 4 at a time, but you know, it works. So we're gonna do another one right across from the intersection that I want them to turn, and then the other one here. So I got them more towards that side of the intersection than this side, is because the traffic's going this way. I love to do a lot of signs. So we're gonna do this one right here. Now when you're placing signs, you can't place them on the sidewalks. I see rookie real estate agents putting them on the sidewalks. You can't do that. Now this isn't a sidewalk, this is a little easement, and that is a better spot to put it. Oh, let's see. One thing you got to be one thing is you got to be careful of the traffic. Don't get run over putting your signs out. Oh, so it's always fun timing these things to do this. And what I mean by blasting your signs is we already have another open house down the street. So I want a lot of signs this way. Okay, we're free and clear to get across. We got competition. We got a couple different signs I see down the street. And I do know that they set signs down at the intersection. So I'm gonna maintain all my signs just concentrated in one little area at the opening. Now, the nice thing about this little community, it's small. So, only 66 homes in here, and it's maybe a quarter mile of private streets. So you typically, when you come in, you're gonna have a directional sign. They're gonna come to the stop sign, they're gonna look both ways. They're gonna see my open house sign that is at the end of the street. I'm gonna put 2 more in the corner, and I'm gonna grab those. Now, a lot of times when you have open houses, you're staggering signs, you know, quarter mile, half mile out. This is such a condensed little area. I'm not gonna break the car out to go set these signs. I'm just gonna get my walk in, get all excited for the open house, get all jacked up that I look up at it as open houses. I'm here to make some friends. Not anything more than that, because people don't buy from just anybody. They buy from people they know, like, and trust. So that's part of my marketing strategy. That's why I don't have those flyers everywhere and stuff like that. I want them to ask me for that, because if they're asking me for it, it means that they know and like me enough to ask me for some marketing material and my information. So that is what gets me excited. So I got these last 4 signs. So the last little bit is the last 4 signs instead of the one, well, the last little bit is these last 4 signs. So what I'm going to do with them, I'm going to put them on each side of the street that I want to drive the traffic to when we're doing these sign blasts. So this is perfect. So we have, I'm going to put 2 on this side and 2 on that side. So let's set these down for a second. So as people come, I want one that is kind of feeding into the entry, so they're seeing it as they come in, and then the other one for traffic coming this way. About right here, as close to the sidewalk as you can get without being on the sidewalk. Don't be one of those guys that puts the sign on the sidewalk. It's a no-no. Plus, if you do that, you're going to have somebody angry that's walking their dog or walking their kids, and you just block their way. I don't blame them if they kick your sign down for being stupid like that. So the last 2 are going to go here. Now these signs can get expensive. Typically with the sign and the holder, it's about $100 a piece. So you want to try to keep your signs in good shape as much as possible. This one's getting scratched up, so it's going to get retouched. There's some that I'm going to reorder and do that. So I got these right here. I'm going to go down to my biggest clearing that I can get when somebody sees. So I think coming this way, the traffic coming this way, I think I'm going to go down to as far as this other open house sign is, almost, because they're grabbing the traffic going that way. The traffic coming this way, I want them to know, hey, there's another open house real close. So I want them to go see all these open houses, because especially this one over here is my competition, and I know it's priced in the same price range as mine. I love that because it's mono against a mono, right? Listing against listing. Is my listing better than that listing? Well, yes it is, matter of fact, and I love that. It just shows value that my listing has. And another thing that is amazing is my listing happens to be in a school district that is maybe more desirable, called Chaparral, on the other side of the street. Great school, but not as desirable as this Chaparral school district. So I got my signs up. I want to look around. I want to check my signs one last time to make sure that they are pointing to my listing, because believe it or not, sometimes it does happen. You set the sign up the wrong way and you go to collect your signs and you're like, I had one pointing the wrong direction. You don't want to do that. Now every once in a while you'll have some jokester that comes and turns the sign. That happens. And the worst thing is when they grab your signs, usually it's in the desert communities where somebody's going to grab your sign. They take them out and they use them for target practice. I hate that. I hate losing a good sign. But it's part of the real estate business, is getting everything put together so you have a successful open house. I got really one last sign to put out. It's my yard sign, or my triangle sign next to my yard sign. I just want that to be real clear that I have an open house, because a lot of times when you just have the yard sign and it says open house, they don't know really which one it is, but hopefully by just putting one more sign out, they get it. And it's getting hot already, holy moly. Gonna be 110, so we're not gonna do the sitting in the garage today. It's a little too hot. When it's in the 90s, it's my favorite thing to do. But today, a little too warm, so we're gonna hang out inside. We're gonna make a lot of friends today. Last sign. It's usually the nicest sign too, with the least amount of scratches. I'm just that way. And I want them to know that it's this house here. Yeah, I'm gonna put that right there. Open house. Come inside, see what we got.